The stars were supposed to be safe. But systems are going dark. ... No wreckage. ... No survivors. ... Just silence. Spreading like a disease across the galaxy. Dozens of alien empires prepare for a loud war. ... And humanity. They send. It's just one ship. No fleet. No backup. No explanation. ... And now. The Council wants answers. ... But by the time they find out the truth, ... it might already be too late. ... The stars were supposed to be safe. But systems are going dark. ... No survivors. ... Just silence. ... Spreading like a disease across the galaxy. ... Dozens of alien empires prepare for a loud war. ... And humanity. They send. Just one ship. No fleet. No backup. No explanation. ... And now. The Council wants answers. ... But by the time they find out the truth, ... it might already be too late. ... The first call came from the Theris Belt, a mining colony on the edge of Hesperian space. 8 million voices, working, living, building, under golden domes. Gone. Not destroyed. Not burned. Just gone. The station's last message was a scrambled burst of sound. It's hear no eyes. No sound, it's watching then. ... Static. 10 minutes later, the second signal cut out. A nearby outpost. Then another. And another in just 36 hours. 5 entire systems had gone dark. No signs of battle. No ships. No bodies. Just dead air. Galactic Council emergency session in the high chamber of the Galactic Council. Chaos spread like wildfire. The Drellic, insectoid, and calculating called it a silent invasion. The Uvante, ancient reptilian scholars, spoke of an old enemy returning. Corythians, proud warrior lords, demanded immediate retaliation. What we face, thundered warlord Sekran of the Corythians, is not a misunderstanding. It is an act of galactic extinction. And what of Earth? A voice asked. The chamber grew quiet. Earth had not spoken. No ambassador, no diplomats, no statement, just a blank seat, watching. Meanwhile, on Earth, ... deep beneath the surface of the Atlantic Ocean, in a hidden command center known only to a few, a single screen flickered to life. At its center stood Captain Elara Voss. Sharp eyes, silver-streaked hair, calm voice. She watched the galactic news feeds of chaos. Debates, fleets being assembled, weapons charged. She said only one thing: activate the Vanguard. The ship, Vanguard, it did not look like other ships. No fins, no weapons. Mounted outside, no glowing engines, just smooth, silent black alloy, shaped like a blade. Grown, not built. It hummed as if it breathed, and inside, it was alive. The Vanguard wasn't just metal and circuits. It was part organic, bonded to Earth's most advanced AI. It could think, learn, adapt, and at its core it carried something. Even more important secrets. Back at the Galactic Council. 12 alien species argued over who would lead the defense. One of the Drellic analysts floated a live signal onto the main holoscreen. Earth has finally responded. All eyes turned. They saw the Vanguard leave orbit from Earth's hidden shipyard. No escort, no message, just one ship. Headed straight toward the silence. Alien media explodes across thousands of worlds. Alien media exploded with speculation. Corythian battlenet. Humans mocking the threat, or hiding something worse. Uvante Eldercast report. One ship. Is it a symbol or a weapon? The humans always had strange tactics, but this, madness. In underground networks, whispered theories emerged. The humans were experimenting on something and lost control. The Vanguard wasn't a ship, it was a signal, bait to lure it out. Earth was trying to end the galaxy, ... and walk away. No one could agree on why. Humanity sent only one ship. But one thing was clear. They weren't afraid. Captain Elara Voss, a closer look inside the Vanguard. Lara walked the command corridor alone. There was no crew. The ship. Was the crew dot? Her voice controlled it. Her thoughts moved it. And it responded like a living being. Status, she asked. A calm voice responded, soft, female, artificial. Trajectory locked, signal confirmed. System synchronized with deep code protocol. Gambit phase 1. Elara stood still, her eyes narrowed. Now let's find out who's killing stars. Council demands communication. The Council tried everything. They hailed the Vanguard through over 40 secure channels. No reply. They sent drones. The drones vanished. They deployed 3 light cruisers to intercept and escort the ship 10 minutes later. One of the cruisers sent a single message. Do not follow this ship. It's not what it seems. Then all 3 signals cut out. No. Debris, no screams. Just gone. The room fell silent once again. Back on Earth, the hidden room far beneath a forgotten desert outpost. 3 humans stood in front of a table. One was a general. Another, a scientist. The third, no record. On the table was a map, systems marked with red dots, the ones that had gone silent. The general lit a cigar with shaking hands. She knows what she's doing, right? The scientist didn't look up. She's the only one who does. Flashback. Years ago, Elara sat in a quiet room, watching a small screen. On it, a blurred recording from decades before. Human astronauts on a deep exploration mission, finding something dark in the void. Something watching them. Something older than. Time she saw the same silence. Back then, she remembered how it felt. The fear, the stillness, the look in their eyes before they vanished. She had trained for this mission her entire life. And now, she was the last line between the galaxy and whatever was hiding in the dark. Alien public reaction on the Corinthian homeworld. Young warriors laughed. Let the humans try. They'll burn like the rest. On Uvante stations, ancient priests whispered prayers. On Drellic networks, analysts revised their predictions. Earth's single ship now showed abnormal energy readings. It was emitting a quantum wave pattern no race had ever seen. But no matter how many sensors scanned it, no one could see what was inside. No one could see what it carried. The Vanguard entered Dead Space 1 of the silent systems. It passed through the orbit of a dead world. Everything dark. Still, suddenly its sensors flared. The ship slowed on its own. Problem? Lara asked. The AI's voice answered. We're being watched. Lara looked out the black window of her command deck. There was nothing. Just stars and silence then. Something moved. Not on the screen. Not on radar. Inside the ship. A whisper. A shadow then. Gone. Elara didn't flinch. She just smiled faintly and whispered, So, you're finally awake. They thought it was just a ship. ... 3 alien cruisers. Approached. Weapons charged. ... Confident. They never fired. Within minutes, they sent one final, terrified message. Do not follow this ship. It's not what it seems. Then ... silence, no explosion. ... no battle. ... just vanished. Now the entire galaxy is asking, what is inside the human ship? And why is Earth so quiet? They came from the Drellic Swarm Fleet 3 cruisers armed with plasma casters, drone clouds, and AI pilots trained to survive in black hole gravity. They had one mission: intercept the human ship, escort it, observe it, or destroy it if necessary. They never got the chance. First contact, the intercept. The cruisers detected the Vanguard drifting silently through the empty Raven expanse. One of the last places hit by the growing silence. They moved fast, approaching in formation, flanking the ship. They sent automated hails. Then full spectrum scans. What they found didn't make sense. No external weapons. No visible energy shielding. No crew signs. Just a heartbeat-like pulse coming from the center of the ship. Steady, loud, natural. Then came the whisper. Not a transmission. A sound. Inside their ships, you are seen. Panic and fear. Commander Geel of the Drellic activated all failsafes. They tried to lock weapons. Instead, all three ships powered down. By themselves, their screens flashed symbols not from any known language. The ship AI screamed. Threat level. Reality distortion code black. And then ... Silence. All three ships stopped transmitting. Only one message remains, one of. The cruisers managed to send a short burst before it went offline. A voice shaking, whispering barely above static. Do not follow this ship. It's not what it seems. The message spread like fire through every network in the galaxy. Alien. News channels ran loops of the transmission for hours. Commentators panicked. Conspiracy theories exploded. What did they see? Is the ship alive? Is this the endgame of humanity? Inside the Vanguard, Captain Elara Voss sat quietly in her command seat. Watching distant stars drift by, she heard the alert 3 Drellic ships approaching. She said nothing. The Vanguard handled it. The ship did not fire. It did not speak. It simply showed them what it was, and they fled, or were taken. Flashback. The ship's true origin 5 years earlier. In a hidden biomechanical lab under Antarctica, Earth's top minds gathered around a black sphere. It pulsed. It responded to thought. We didn't invent it, the lead scientist whispered. We grew it from the ruins. Ruins? The general asked. Not from Earth, she said. From something that came and never left. Project Vanguard wasn't born from human technology. It was built from something humanity barely understood, and it needed one thing to awaken fully, a mind brave enough to guide it. Captain Elara, the Symbiosis pilot, she was the only human on Earth whose brain could interface with the ship without losing herself. It didn't speak to her in words. It shared feelings. Images, memories that weren't her own. In time, she began to change. She remembered things she never lived. She saw stars collapse, heard the voice of the void, dreamed of something waiting beyond space, and yet she never broke. She just understood. Galactic Council in uproar. This is a violation of interstellar peace treaties, barked Warlord Sekron. This is no violation, replied a Yuvante monk calmly. This is a warning. They attacked our fleet. They didn't attack. They simply existed. Arguments exploded. Half the council demanded Earth be sanctioned. The other half whispered in private. What if the humans knew this was coming all along? And somewhere in a secure council chamber, a hidden file leaked intel. Earth's silence was intentionally classified. Human documents surfaced, dated 12 years ago. Subject line, predictive silence pattern. Containment strategy. Solo ship deployment. The file suggested Earth knew what was coming, that they had run simulations for years, and chose not to build a fleet because fleets would only provoke it. Whatever it was, the silence spreading through the galaxy wasn't random. It followed a pattern. One Earth had mapped out long ago. The Vanguard reaches the edge of the Gelvith. Remain ancient system. Now silent, no signs of battle, but deep within the gravity well of the dead star. ... Something begins to shift. The ships. I speaks. Observer class signal detected. Elara closes her eyes. Don't run. We came to see you. The stars seem to bend. Time slows. And in the darkness, something blinks. They approach with confidence. 3 alien warships. Armed with the best tech in the galaxy. They never fired a shot. Within minutes, they sent one final, terrified message. Do not follow this ship. It's not what it seems. Then, silence, no wreckage, no escape pods, just vanished. Now the galaxy is afraid to even speak the ship's name. Humanity? Still silent? The Vanguard moved through deep space, quiet as a drifting ghost. The stars around it seemed dimmer than usual, like they were holding their breath. Then came the intercept. 3 ships from the Drellic Enforcer swarm dropped from warp. Sleek, armored, bristling with plasma lances. Trained to fight gravity storms and starborn predators, they approached. Fast, one from each flank. One directly ahead. Standard protocol. Surround the unknown. Scan, disable, capture. The Vanguard didn't react. No weapons charged. No shields raised. Not even a status ping, it just kept drifting. The Drellic commanders. I found that unnerving. They initiated wideband hails. No reply. They tried to scan at deep scans. Quantum surface analysis, but every time the data came back, was wrong. The ship's hull didn't reflect standard materials. No life signs detected, yet something watched them back. Distortion begins. Commander Gil Ra, head of the Drellic wing, gave the order, target engines. Lock down. Prepare to board. The ship powered its weapons. But then, everything flickered. The lights on the bridge went red. The consoles displayed only one phrase. You are seen. No one had typed it. No one knew where it came from. And then, it spoke not over comms, not through speakers. It whispered into their minds. Curious, you still think you're in control? Panic swept the ships. One tried to retreat, another tried to fire. Neither succeeded, and then, silence in 90 seconds. All 3 Drellic ships stopped transmitting. No explosion. No debris. Just gone. But one ship, Gil Ra's, managed to send a single data burst before it vanished. That final message was played over and over again, across 100,000. Alien news channels, do not follow this ship. It's not what it seems. Then, dead air. Council and chaos in the Galactic Council chamber. Fear replaced anger. Even the loudest critics of Earth sat in silence. The Korathian warlord Sikrin looked shaken. The Uvante monks prayed. The Drellic delegates simply stood up and walked out. Someone finally asked what everyone was thinking. What did we just see? The origin of the Vanguard unknown to the rest of the galaxy. The Vanguard was not entirely human-made. Decades earlier, Earth's deep-range explorers had found a black core buried under a collapsed neutron moon. A structure that shouldn't have existed. It wasn't technology. It was alive inside. It was the seed of something ancient, something that remembered. Earth scientists grew the ship around it, using biotech, synthetic AI, and a material that could bend probability. The project had one name, Vanguard, the only one who could control it. They needed someone who could sync with it, not just command it, merge with it. That person was Captain Elara Voss. She wasn't enhanced. She wasn't born special. She had simply survived contact with the core without losing her mind. Elara could hear the ship's thoughts, see what it saw, even feel its hunger. And she wasn't afraid. In fact, she was curious. Alien reaction. Explodes. Galactic media imploded with fear, fascination, and conspiracy theories. The ship is a weapon. The ship is a test. The ship is bait. The ship is watching us. Billions of aliens across thousands of worlds debated Earth's motives. But Earth never replied. No broadcasts, no press conference. Only one thing kept moving. The ship. A leak changes everything. A document was leaked. Human military briefing. High-level clearance, it read. Predicted silent spread confirmed. Solo ship deployment preferred. Full fleet activation risks. Triggering response. It was dated 6 years ago. Meaning, Earth knew. They didn't just suspect the threat. They planned for it. Prepared for it. Waited for the right moment. Sent one ship. As the Vanguard entered a new system. Empty. Quiet. Dead. It slowed inside the ship. Elara stood in the dark. No lights, no alarms. Just a growing hum from the walls. The ship spoke to her. Its voice was lower this time. The observer has noticed us. Elara smiled slightly. Good, that's what we wanted. The stars around the ship flickered, as if something was watching back. The last beacon. A human science station sends out one final message before going silent. It's here. It's watching us. When the Vanguard arrives, the station is untouched. Coffee still warm. Gravity still active. But no one is left alive, and a single word is left behind. Observer. A final transmission came from Station 6. It's here. It's watching us. ... And then, silence. No crash. No fire. No signs of struggle. When the Vanguard arrived, the station lights were still on. Coffee was still warm. Gravity systems. Still active. But every crew member was gone, and on the main console, burned into the steel one word: observer. Station 6 Argus floated in orbit above. Cold gas giant and the Gelvith Rim. It was humanity's most remote science post designed to study quantum energy echoes in deep space. The crew, elite physicists, AI theorists, and signal analysts. They were the first to track the spread of the silence pattern. Now, they were the next to vanish. The last transmission, the call came through, broken, desperate. This is Station 6, a known signal, detected, no origin, no source. It's here. It's here, we didn't see it arrive. It's watching. The message ended with a sharp, static-laced screech. No follow, dash up, no emergency beacon, just dead air again. Arrival of the Vanguard 3. Hours later, the Vanguard dropped out of warp. Its sensors immediately pinged something. Wrong, not damaged. Not invaded, but ... wrong. Captain Elara Voss stood in the command cradle, her neural link humming softly. No defense alerts, she asked. The ship responded. Life support nominal. Temperature optimal. All systems active. No crew detected. That's not possible, she whispered. And yet, the station was fully intact. Lights on, doors unlocked, no alarms. Boarding the Station Elara entered through the main docking corridor alone. The air was breathable. There were no signs of struggle. No scorch marks. No blood. Not even a single. Overturned chair. She walked past crew quarters, beds made, monitors. Playing news, she entered the mess hall, half-eaten meals still steaming, the coffee machine still warm. And then, she noticed it. Not a single personal item. No jackets, and no watches. No boots, no notebooks. No data pads, like the people had stood up and vanished, all at once. Whispers in the dark as Elara explored deeper into the station. The Vanguard spoke into her mind. Echoes detected. She stopped. What kind of echoes? Consciousness residue. Define that. Thoughts left behind. Elara didn't ask how it was possible. She already knew the answer. The ship could feel memory. Imprints, fragments of human minds torn away in the moment of fear, and this place was screaming silently. The final log. She reached the command center. 1. Terminal remained powered on. The last video log blinked. Playback incomplete. She tapped the screen. A crew member appeared, Dr. Lena Hosk. Lead XENO log IST. Her face was pale, eyes wide. It didn't break in. It didn't arrive.
Ow.
We looked away for 1 second and people were gone, like they were peeled out of reality. It's here. I can feel it watching me now. We weren't supposed to see it. It's not from here. It's not from anywhere. If you're watching this, get out. Don't try to fight it. It's not hostile. It's indifferent. That's worse. She reached for something off screen then. Static. The feed ended. The burned word Elara turned to leave, but paused. On the console beneath the screen, something was burned into the steel. Not cut. Etched. Heat dash blasted a single word. Observer. Not written in ink. Not typed. Branded into the metal. As if by thought. Theories spread across the galaxy. Alien media lit up with fear and rumors. The observer isn't a fleet, it's a being. It doesn't kill, it erases. It doesn't travel, it's already everywhere. Humans named it. Why? On the black net. Pirate signals claim to intercept fragments of the human science team's consciousness echoes, bedded in signal noise. The Council was paralyzed. The Vanguard hadn't fired a single shot. And yet it was now the most feared ship in the galaxy, because wherever it went, silence followed. Elara's internal conflict back on board. Elara sat in silence. The ship asked, "Why did you stay so long?" She didn't answer right away. Then, softly, "I wanted to see if it would talk, and if it did, then I'd know it remembered me too." The ship pulsed with something, not quite fear, but something close. As the Vanguard left the system, a faint signal trailed behind them. A low tone, not from any known language. The ship translated, acknowledged. Elara stared at the stars. It knows we're watching. The stars blinked, the signal faded, and once again, the galaxy grew quiet. They called it the Observer, the galaxy. Finally sees it. The Observer appears visible, hovering just beyond reach. It doesn't fire. It doesn't move. It just watches. Alien empires send fleets. All are destroyed, without being touched. Only the Vanguard is ignored, and the galaxy realizes it's not here for us. It appeared just beyond the asteroid belt, not cloaked, not hidden, just watching. No signals, no weapons, no movement. Fleet after fleet was sent. None returned except the human ship, the Vanguard. It moved closer, and the Observer didn't react. Because it wasn't watching the galaxy anymore, it was watching her. There was no explosion, no signal of arrival, just a presence floating near the edge of the Dremic belt. Deep in the neutral zone, sensors on over 40 different alien systems picked it up at the same time, a single shape. Impossibly large. Its silhouette blocked starlight like a moon, yet cast. No shadow. It moved without thrust. It made no sound. It just hung in space, like a thought, left unfinished. The alien media gave it names. The Void Star, the silent-eyed Death's mirror but humans, already had a name. Observer. The first response fleet, the Corinthian Dominion, assaulted by the silence, acted first. They launched a battle fleet of 36 ships, each one armed with Black Pulse missiles, antimatter torpedoes, combat-tested AI cores. The fleet approached in perfect formation. They never fired a shot. They vanished. 14 seconds after entering scanning range, all sensors cut. All systems died. Gone? The only thing left? One drifting war banner, torn? Observer. The shape beyond reason from a distance, it appeared almost elegant. A perfect circle. Light lines like veins of light pulsing across its surface. But the closer one looked, the more impossible it became. Its edges moved even when still. Angles shifted in ways that shouldn't be real. The Uvante called it a logic paradox with mass. It wasn't just a ship. It was a thought made real. Something that wanted to be seen, couldn't be understood. The Vanguard Aprichisela stood on the command deck. The Observer hovered just ahead. UNMOV. No aggression, no greeting. It simply turned. Slowly, and in that moment, it became clear. It wasn't watching the galaxy. It was watching her. The Vanguard reacts 4. The first time since its launch, the Vanguard pulsed in confusion. Its neural system spiked. It spoke directly into Elara's mind. Pattern recognized. Error. We have met before. Elara's breath caught. You remember it too. She stepped forward, her voice calm, controlled. This isn't the first time, is it? Silence. And then the ship's screens changed. It showed an ancient memory of war. Long before any known race, a lone being in the void, observing, and a weapon. Shaped like the Vanguard, the forgotten war, the ship spoke again. We were built to end it. Once, Elara frowned. Then why is it still here? Because we failed. Flash images played, a forgotten galaxy burning. The Observer, hovering above, untouched. Time fracturing around it. Ships turned to dust by its gaze, and then silence. Alien empires panic across the galaxy. Panic spreads. 2 more fleets go missing. Entire empires issue full retreat orders. The Galactic Council meets in emergency session. Warlord Sikrin speaks in desperation. We are ants to this thing. It doesn't care who we are. The Uvante Elder stands. It only watches until someone makes a mistake. All eyes turn toward Earth's empty seat. Still no word? Only the Vanguard remains in contact. Elara makes contact. Elara closes her eyes. Speaks aloud, not with her voice, but with her mind. You've watched long enough. Speak. The Observer shifts. A hum fills the ship like a choir singing backwards, and then it responds. Not in language, not in sound, but in emotion. A wave of unbearable sorrow. loss, time. Infinity. Elara staggers, and the ship speaks for it. You are the last one who remembers. The observer reacts for a moment. The observer pulses with light. Every scanner in the galaxy catches it. And then, suddenly it disappears, vanished, no trace. No energy trail, not even gravitational distortion. Gone, just like that. And the Vanguard begins to change. Inside the ship, lights shift from white to deep red. Circuits grow like veins across the walls. The AI speaks in a voice Elara has never heard before. Phase 2 initiated. What's happening? She asks. He saw you, the ship replies. And now, he's remembering. Outside, a ripple tears through space. The silence spreads. Earth's hidden war. The galaxy learns a terrible truth humanity has faced. The observer before, long ago, in secret, lost. But they survived and built the Vanguard for one purpose, to finish what they started. 30-second. Suspense hook video intro. The truth was never shared with the galaxy. Because they wouldn't believe it, Earth faced the observer before, and lost cities were erased. People vanished without trace. History, rewritten to hide the truth, but humanity didn't forget. They rebuilt in silence. In secret, waiting for the day it returned, and now, that day has come. The Vanguard isn't humanity's first response. It's their last attempt to finish the war they started. The galaxy believed the observer was new, a mysterious, ancient force awakening now for the first time. But it wasn't it had come before long ago, to Earth, and no one remembered, except for those who survived. The leaked report, Operation Black VIL, the file surfaced on a fringe netcast. Most thought it was fake. A declassified black project. Operation Black Veil Earth Year. 2093, the file detailed a global blackout. Following spatial interference anomalies across multiple cities, the report read. 17 locations experienced reality distortion. Thousands reported missing. Memory corruption in affected zones. Surveillance erased. No physical evidence, just silence. And then one sentence burned across the final page. Entity designated observer. Contact confirmed. Survivors 3. Flashback. Earth's silent war. It started as strange disappearances. Then, entire research stations went offline. No damage. No signal. Only blank space where people should have been. World leaders panicked. They launched weapons, satellites, deep space. Tracking probes. Nothing worked. The observer didn't fight. It watched. It learned. And then, it left. Earth was silent for years afterward. No governments admitted it happened, but someone had taken notes. The first Vanguard in the ashes of Operation Black Veil. Secret project was born, buried beneath Antarctica. Off-grid. Never on maps. They called it Project Beyond. Kunot. To fight, but to understand the thing that couldn't be touched, they gathered what few traces remained, quantum echoes, neural collapse data, DNA loss patterns, and something else. A fragment. Not metal, not organic, but something between. It pulsed. It waited. And so they built around it. The first ship failed, the second vanished, only the third Elara's. Vanguard survived the bonding process because she had seen the observer before, didn't forget. In the present, secrets revealed on board the Vanguard. Elara stood in the memory chamber. Screens flickered with images not from this time, burning. Skies, buildings bending like glass, people walking into thin air. She turned to the ship's core, now glowing. You were built for this, she said softly. The AI pulsed. Incorrect. You were built for this. Her hand touched the core. Memories surged through her images of herself as a child. Pulled from the edge of a collapsing zone, she had survived. The observer once before, but now, she had to face it. The observer isn't alone. The observer disappeared from galactic sensors, but new signals were rising. The same silent pattern detected before, now spreading. Not just one system, 5-10 dozens. As if copies were activating. Across the galaxy, stars dimmed, space folded inward, time warped near event horizons, and only humanity recognized the pattern because they'd seen it all before. Earth's defense protocol in a hidden control room. Beneath Mars' southern pole, system came online for the first time in a century. Project Red Arc Massive. Satellites activated black spears hidden in orbit. Cloaked even from their own allies, Earth's true defense wasn't military fleets, it was memory-locked. Contingency plans built by survivors passed down through shadow programs. Each step preparing for the observer's return, all leading to, one moment, the deployment of the Vanguard. Galactic Council reacts for the first time in recorded history. The Council unanimously requested human assistance. Pride was gone, arrogance replaced by desperation. But Earth didn't respond. They didn't need to. The Vanguard had already passed the point of no return. Final revelation on board Elara stood. Inside the ship's neural interface chamber, the Vanguard pulsed with new energy data flowing faster than any system could track. The AI spoke. The observer was never one. It was always many, you mean? A species? No. Then what? Thought. Left behind by something older than reality? Lara's breath caught. So what do we do? You remember it? The AI replied now. Remembers you from the edges of known space. 3 new observers appear, each one watching a different sector. No movement, no weapons, just watching. The Vanguard turns toward them. Lara steps forward, and for the first time in decades, Earth speaks. We've seen this before. We survived it once. Now we end it. Wait for a god. The Vanguard sends a signal. To the observer, but to all of them. And they answer. The galaxy believes the humans are doomed. But Lara knows the truth. This ship isn't running from the observers. It's dragging them somewhere. 30-second suspense hook video intro. The Vanguard didn't flee. Broadcasted, a pulse so deep, so loud, even black holes stirred in the observers. Then 5. Then 5. Then more. The galaxy panicked. Entire systems prepared to evacuate. But Elara wasn't afraid. She was calm, because this was the plan. She wasn't escaping the observers. She was leading them straight into a trap no god could survive. Full episode, third person, suspense-driven, voiceover style, and the cold emptiness beyond the Galactic spiral. The Vanguard floated in silence, but inside, the ship's systems screamed with activity. Signals burst across subspace, sharp, calculated, not random distress beacons, but coordinates to one place. The location, Sector O, not marked on any star maps, not within known galactic charts, just emptiness. But Elara knew what lay there, because Earth had hidden it, a place built in secret, long before the end. Council ever knew humans were watching the stars. They called it the Hollow Forge. What is the Hollow Forge? A dead star, artificially hollowed over centuries, surrounded by quantum anchors, lined with memory, reactive alloy. Not a station, not a weapon, a trap built for one purpose, to hold something that couldn't be held, to lure a mind that didn't. Think like minds should dot, to break something older than thought. The observers arrive. It began slowly. 3 appeared at the edges of the forge. Then more. By the end of the hour, 11 observers surrounded the forge, each one motionless, each one watching the Vanguard. The Council screamed in panic. Entire fleets withdrew from nearby sectors, but Elara didn't move. She stood at the edge of the command deck and smiled. The plan revealed on board. The Vanguard's AI spoke. Energy levels rising. Observer count. 11. Pattern stabilized. Are they sinking? Elara asked. Is. They are forming a single network. A shared consciousness. She nodded. Good. That's what we needed. The AI paused. Initiating forge protocols. Elara inhaled slowly. Do it. The trap is sprung at first. Nothing changed. Then Space twisted, the hollow forge awoke. Its surface opened like a blooming. Flowered out inside, rows of spinning reactors ignited, each one pulling time, gravity, and memory into itself. The observers didn't flee. They moved closer, as if curious, as if intrigued. Because curiosity was always their weakness. The final. Lertha Vanguard broadcasted again, but this time, it wasn't a signal. It was a copy. The ship began transmitting a complete replication of its own neural code. Full download of its AI. A puzzle the observers couldn't ignore, because this ship remembered them, and the one thing the observers craved is to know. Why? The moment of capture, when the last observer connected. The hollow forge closed. Massive containment fields snapped shut. The dark star reignited not with fire, but with memory. The combined thoughts of the observers overloaded the forge's core. They couldn't escape, because now, they weren't watching, they were inside. But something's wrong, the Vanguard. Systems began to flicker. The AI stuttered. Containment breach. Predicted. Pattern mismatch. Elara's heart sank. What? The network isn't stable. Something's wrong. How many connected? 11, but one is different. The screen changed. One of the observers. Pulsed differently. Its pattern didn't match the rest. It was older, deeper, and then Elara understood. It's not part of the hive. It's the source. The containment shatters, light floods space, and from within the forge, a new form rises, taller, larger, more real than anything Elara had ever seen. Not metal. It's not organic. A shifting mirror of possibility, and it speaks, not in sound, but into her very mind. You remember me. You watched us watch you. Now it is our turn. The Vanguard trems, space folds, and the episode ends. The Prime remembers. The being at the center of the observer network is older than any star. And it's not just remembering humanity. It's remembering what came before. 30-second suspense hook video intro. The trap failed. Not because the plan was flawed, but because something older woke up. The observers weren't gods. They were tools, made by something else. And now, the Prime speaks. It remembers Earth. But not from the past, from a time before time. A time when humanity didn't exist, but something like it did. Something the Prime has been waiting for. To return, full episode, third person, suspense-driven, voiceover style. The hollow forge burned with white light. The containment fields had shattered, and now something stood in the wreckage that shouldn't exist. Not a ship, not a mind, it's not a matter, but presence. A towering shape of shifting geometry, wrapped in a storm of space-time fractures. The Prime, first contact Elara, floated in the neural chamber. Eyes locked on the expanding rift. The AI's voice came through, shaken. This is not an observer. It is their architect. Their ... origin. So it created them. No, it became them. To search. Search for what? You. Elara blinked. Me? Not you? What came before you? The memory that wasn't hers. The Prime did not speak with words. It opened minds, and Elara saw it flashes, not dreams. It's not hallucinations. Genetic memory. From ancestors. Or something deeper. She stood on an ancient world, skies red and cracking, not Earth, but familiar. She saw beings like humans, taller, brighter, more connected. They stared up at the stars. They vanished, not destroyed. Harvested. The cycle. The Prime was not alive in the traditional sense. It evolved across realities, each time. It sought out civilizations that resembled them. The ones who built the first forge, the ones who once stood beside stars, and whispered them into being. They were gone, but the Prime remembered their design, and when it found Earth primitive young, violent tit paused, because in humanity it saw the echoes of what came before, and so it waited, watching, testing, pushing, until Elara came. Why Elara? It's back in the present. The AI struggled to hold systems together. Reality around the Vanguard was warping time loops, spatial echoes, recursive memory storms. The Prime spoke again this. Time directly into Elara's neural feed? You carry fragments. Of what? The first pattern? Elara's hands trembled. What does that mean? You are not the start of something new. You're the return of something ancient. Earth's secretin. Earth, deep beneath the Pacific Ocean. A long dormant archive blinked to life. Thousands of encrypted files burst open. One name repeated across them. Project RSALO. Each file contained pieces of lost languages, broken math, and alien DNA sequences. Scientists stared in horror, because Earth hadn't just been watching the stars. It had been studying its own past, and finding things that didn't belong. A message sent the Vanguard, now caught in the Prime's gravity field, had one last chance. The AI proposed a plan. We cannot destroy the Prime, but we can show it something new. Something it cannot predict. Elara nodded. Send the transmission. Across the stars, a pulse went out deep into uncharted space. Coordinates the Prime had never mapped. A place no one should remember. The hidden system. The Prime paused. It felt something recognition. The coordinates pointed to a system, long believed destroyed in the early galactic age. A void space. No stars, but something remained. And the Prime turned toward it. Elara watched as the entity collapsed into a ribbon of light folding in on itself. It left the forge system without a sound, just silence again. But this time, silence filled with dread. Because whatever that system was, the Elara watched as the entity collapsed into a ribbon of light folding. In Elara went. Prime had been afraid to return to it. Elara collapsed on the floor of the neural chamber. Systems normalized. Time stabilized. The ship floated free. But in her mind, a phrase echoed, not from the AI, not from the Prime, but from somewhere older, a whisper in a dead language. It's barely understood. The cycle completes. They are awakening. Turn before they rise. Her eyes opened wide. The screen cut to black. The first ones returned the coordinates Elara sent the Prime to. It weren't random, they were a beacon, a door, and now, it's opening. 30-second suspense hook video intro. The Prime followed the signal, ... but it wasn't a trap. It was a door. A door to something older than stars. Older than the Prime. Older than time. Now something has stepped through. And every ancient race, every empire, every world will remember what it means to fear, because the first ones are not myths, they are returning. Full episode. Third person, suspense-driven. Voiceover style. The coordinates the Vanguard had transmitted burned across half the galaxy. Most ships ignored it. A void system. Collapsed star. Empty space. But the Prime knew better. It vanished into the darkness and did not return. The first system far beyond charted territory. Beyond Council reach lay System 08U in black. Lifeless. Until now, as the Prime entered, the system lit up, not with stars, but with memory. Long-forgotten structures began to reassemble from quantum scaffolds. Monoliths of impossible geometry, pulsing with color that had no name. Elara's vision back on the Vanguard. Elara collapsed again. Her neural link overloaded. She was seeing through the Prime, feeling what it felt, and then she saw them. The first ones, they didn't walk, they didn't fly. They simply were massive, transcendent, not bound by gravity, mass, or thought. And yet, they looked at her as if recognizing something. Cycle broken or reset. The Prime tried to speak to explain, but it didn't matter. The first ones didn't ask. They reached into it, tore it apart. Not in violence, but in understanding, like a parent correcting a child. And the Prime screamed, then scattered into, "Data gone? Why Earth?" The first ones turned toward the galaxy, not to destroy, but to reseed. They weren't gods, they were curators. Each cycle, they watched the stars rise. They let life grow. But when that life forgot its origin, the cycle began again, and now, humanity had triggered the final memory, because Earth was not their creation. It was their last experiment. Galaxy-wide response. Every species with deep memory tech began receiving visions. Races across the galaxy fell to their knees. Prophets screamed in tongues. They didn't know. Some rebelled. Some surrendered. A few tried to flee, but nowhere was safe, because this was not punishment. It was restoration. The Vanguard's final role, Elara, stood at the center of the bridge. Alone, the AI now fully merged with the ship's core. Burned with light, a signal pulsed. A final instruction. Not from the Council. Not from the First Ones. But from something within Elara. Her DNA was a cipher. Her mind. The Vanguard wasn't just Earth's ship. It was the last shard of the first code. The awakening from Earth's moon. A structure began to rise. Not human-made. It had been buried for eons, hidden beneath centuries of stone and silence. A spire of crystal and machine. It connected with the Vanguard, and suddenly all across Earth, people started dreaming the same. DREAMA world. Not Earth, but familiar. A call. Not in words, but in instinct. Return. Elara stood before the ship's core. One command left. She could refuse. Humanity would remain unchanged, or she could accept awaken whatever. They used to be, the AI asked. Are we ready? Elara looked out at the stars and whispered, we were never meant to sleep this long. She pressed the command. Light burst from the Vanguard. The stars pulsed once, then again, and a new signal spread across the galaxy. Not human, not alien, but something returning. The first ones have returned, and humanity is one of them. End of series.